in ancient Korea, called Goryeo, and the central district Liaoning province, which is China. The farming had started from Liaoning province, but as it was located far in the frontier, the culturally backward people had a sense of inferiority among themselves. However, due to their rough temperament, in every conflict they got involved, none of the factions underestimated the Liaoning province. Then, the ground of Musan, a place of Liaoning province, became a battlefield for the Liaoning province in Goryeo. It means a war between Korea and China. In honor of these fierce battles, two black bronze statues were placed facing each other in Hyalupyeong, a place in Goryeo. In Hyalupyeong there were two clans. One of them is Yongseon, and their leader is Cheolho Sim. The other is Dae Ryok Bu, and their leader is Manjik Sang. They are ready to engage in a fight in order to obtain the vacant leader position in Liaoning province. From a side, a man is drinking liquor and is spectating the match. He is a public elder, Hong Mu-gyu, and he thinks that it is worth coming from a long distance to watch it. He prepares to note down the data of the result in this match. In that moment, a person lands on the ground from the sky, and the elder is terrified of the aura the man is emitting. The elder didn't even know when that person had landed beside him. On the stage, both the leaders are fighting to their capabilities. The man is spectating the match too. However, he feels a pain in his heart and places his hand on the bronze dragon statue for support. He imagines that, if he had a little more time, he could have protected his daughter, and he releases a faint amount of energy in the dragon statue. As the elder is watching the man speaks that,
"My descendant will come."
With those words, he left the place, and the elder is perplexed as to who his descendant will be. All of a sudden, the bronze dragon statue is twisting itself by the energy that is left by that man. The elder is stunned that a small amount of energy had did this. In Goryeo, which is Korea, a place called Nangrim Mountains, a person is relaxing on a tree by thinking that his life is good. He is the protagonist of the story, Dan Sayu. His older sister Gung Mu Ae calls out for him to have lunch together. Subsequently, he jumps off from the tree and tells her that he is really hungry today. The village down the mountain is called Gung Village. Everyone in the village is bad-mouthing Dan Sayu, that he is from the Dan clan, yet he is living in the Gung Village. Someone calls Mu Ae, and his name is Gung Sudiak. He advises Mu Ae that even though she is in her marriageable age, she is not getting any matches due to her hanging out with Sayu. Sayu jokes at him that Sudiak couldn't even poop and pee by himself until he was 8 years old, and that he needs to start taking care of himself first. Sudiak grabs Sayu's collar and warns if Sayu wants to meet his father in the afterlife. In that moment, someone steps in and lifts up Sudiak. His name is Gung Jik, and he throws Diak aside. Then, an old lady, the chief of this village, yells at Jik for tossing Diak like that. At that point, Jik presents the chief a letter sent by an official, which is very important. The chief is flabbergasted after reading the contents written in the letter. The chief asks if Jik had read the letter beforehand, but he had already left the place. In their home, Jik questions when is Mu Ae going to introduce the person she is loving. Mu Ae is shocked that Jik knows about that. Jik explains that everyone in the village knows about the fact that she is interested in a guy, and he is from a clan that sells silk. Sayu is surprised that her sister is interested in someone. She reveals that the guy she is interested in is far from their village, and they don't even know each other well. Later that night, Sayu is prepared to hunt something. As he was leaving, Jik inquires where Sayu is going at this hour. He questions back at Jik that if he is selling all the silk he collected for Mu Ae's marriage. He speaks that he would give it to her as a wedding gift, and advises Sayu to leave this village as soon as possible. Because, once Mu Ae gets marriage, and Jik devotes himself to the army, Sayu will be all alone, and the village might do something to him. Sayu states that he made a promise to his father that he wouldn't leave this village until he turns 20. Like that, the both of them are joking with each other, and inside the room, Mu Ae is listening to all of this. For Mu Ae's marriage, Sayu is planning to find a wild ginseng, and it should cover up all the wedding expenses. Jik is amazed that Sayu has that much strength in his skinny bones, and Sayu sarcasms that he is also amazed that Jik is also 16 years old like Sayu with that big body of his. Afterwards, he sets off to the mountain, and Diak interrogates where Sayu is going at this hour. Without replying to his question, Sayu questions back, what is written in the letter sent by that official? The chief comes out and states that Sayu has nothing to do with their village business. Like that, Sayu moves to the mansion, and the chief speaks that soon Sayu will leave this village on his own when the official comes to their village with Yuan's special envoy. On the mountains, Sayu is surprised that he got the ginseng so easily. That would take at least 100 years. Moreover, not one root, but 2 roots, which is very rare. He thinks that it is sunset and foggy, so he needs to rest on this mountain today. At that time, he saw smoke coming out, as if someone was there. He heads to that place, and a person was meditating there. He is the man with extraordinary energy. Jeek is thinking that he needs to be cautious, somehow as if the man had read Sayu's thoughts. He speaks that everyone would be wary of someone deep in the mountains. And the man expresses that he is uncomfortable that Sayu is sneaking at him even though the man is unarmed. Sayu with a pressured expression requests that if he could stay here until morning. The old man agrees to it, and Sayu offers a meal to the old man. As the old man is eating the food slowly, Sayu imagines that the old man might not be hungry. The old man speaks that if one eats food in a hurry, they won't be able to absorb the nutrients perfectly, so it would be better to eat slowly. Then even a tiny amount could give the body the energy to move. The man now inquiries about Sayu's identity, and Sayu responds that,
I am Dan Sayu. I live in Gung village, under Hong and Ryong.
The old man questions that, according to his knowledge, only the Gung family could live there, so it is surprising to the old man that Sayu, who is a Dan, is living there. Sayu smiles and responds that it is due to certain circumstances. The old man is impressed that Sayu is hiding his fear with a smile. Sayu is bewildered that old man is speaking as if he can read Sayu's thoughts. Sayu questions where the old man is heading to, because ordinary people wouldn't even dare to come to this place. The old man answers that he is on his way to kill someone. Sayu flinched after hearing it and responds that even if the old man is sick of living, he should follow the righteous path. The old man speaks that Sayu had him laugh after a long time, and tells that he is going to finish his long journey soon. At the end of his journey, he will be waiting for his death. Sayu is shocked that the old man is casually speaking about his death. Next day morning, Sayu left the place before the old man, and he also left one of the ginseng he got to the old man. Sayu is now regretting that he left the ginseng, which could value up to hundreds of rice bags. He didn't even know why he left a treasure like that to a mysterious old man. Afterwards, he believes that only one ginseng was for him, and the other one was meant for the old man. Like that, he is going back to the village, and there is no one to be seen around in the village. At that time, Diak attacks from backside, and Sayu falls down by the force of the punch. Then Diak grabs his head, and the village chief and some local people appear at that spot. And the village chief clearly shows hostility towards Sayu, and commands Diak to lock Sayu. Otherwise, Sayu will abrupt all their plans. Sayu can't understand what the chief is talking about, and Diak explains that the official who sent the letter is arriving to their village, and the chief continues that the official would come with Yuan's special envoy. So the village needs to offer a princess to send to Yuan, so they are thinking to send Muae. After hearing those words, Sayu moves his head a bit and bites Diak's thumb finger. Then, Diak let his guard down, and Sayu took that chance and gave an elbow attack to Diak. Instantly, he grabs his bow and taken an arrow from his bag by giving a knee attack to Diak. He points his arrow at Diak's head. Sayu threatens the chief by shooting an arrow at her, that even though his father has ran away, he learned a lot of lessons from him. He forewarns to everyone that if anyone takes a step forward, their head will be blown away. Likewise, Sayu ran from them to save Muae, and Diak states that if Sayu takes Muae and ran away, it would be difficult for the village to survive. At that time, a horse has stepped, and special envoy of Yuan has arrived. Sayu is exhausted from running all the way to their home, and calls out for his sister. His sister states that lunch is ready, so Sayu can wash his hands to eat. Sayu responds that they don't have time for that, due to an emergency has occurred. He quickly opens the door and packs some clothes inside his sack, and even the ginseng is with him. He questions where Jeek is, and Muae answers that He went to the mountains for wood. Sayu is worried and tells that they are going to meet Jeek first, and he will explains the details to her later. As he was taking Muae and running away, he can see the envoy from Yuan. In that moment, the envoy had looked at Sayu, which made Sayu terrified all of a sudden. The envoy commands the guards that to catch Muae, and they can kill Sayu if needed. But they shouldn't let even a scratch on Muae, because she could hold the fate of Yuan someday. By the command, the guards are on their way to capture Muae. The envoy is thinking that Sayu has a talent in hunting, since he made Diak as a hostage. Besides, Sayu didn't even use any martial art. As Sayu is running, the guards have already arrived near to them, and Sayu shoots his arrow at them. A guard takes out a sword and a blade, and defends against the arrow using them. The second guard instantly grabbed Sayu's face, and made him fall down. Then the first guard takes Muae, without a scratch on her, and the second guard warns Sayu not to move an inch. In that fleeting moment, the second guard is punched so hard that he is blown away by the force alone. He instantly thrusts his sword to the ground to stop moving. Jeek sent inquiries about the guards, and Sayu replies that they are from Yuan. He let knows Jeek that the letter he brought, which was sent by an official, it was about offering Muae as a princess to Yuan. So, Sayu plans that they need to get back Muae first and head to Bong Mountain, because it would be hard for the guards to track them. The first guard laughs at the second guard and asks him if he needs any help. The second rejects it and now warns Jeek and Sayu that their death will not be painless. Jeek grits his teeth and is set to fight against them. Jeek then throws away his wood dowels at a guard, and as the guard sliced through the wooden dowels, Jeek blocked the guard's sword with his axe. Jeek now challenges the guard if he alone can defeat Sayu and Jeek. The guard then changes his momentum and aimed his sword at Jeek's neck. At that point of time, Sayu climbs up on Jeek and shoots his arrows at the guard. The guard is stunned at Sayu's action and sliced both the arrows. But he forgot about Jeek, and Jeek punched with all his might, and that strength and force made the guard strike to a tree. Without missing this chance, Sayu had shot his arrow at the guard, and he dodged it. Yet, there was another which had shot into his thigh. The second guard is surprised to see the tactics of Jeek and Sayu. Then, a person had entered into the scene. He speaks that he came here because even after a long time had passed, the guards haven't reported to him yet. And he can't even imagine that Yuan's elite warriors are struggling against some youngsters from Goryeo. Both the guards are apologizing to the envoy for their recklessness. The envoy now releases his energy, which made both Jeek and Sayu tremble in fear. The envoy states that if the both of them can withstand the martial arts of elite warriors without a good technique, it is a shame for them to be born in Goryeo. Jeek doesn't even lost his courage at this energy and shouts that if they want to take Muae, they need to kill Jeek first. Within a split second, the envoy had already reached out his hand at Jeek's heart and states that he is going to kill Jeek as he requested. Then the envoy uses his martial art to blow Jeek so long that he even went past through a tree and still blows away to the back and reaches at the end of a cliff. Sayu is calling out for Jeek if he is okay or not. The envoy responds that Sayu needs to take care of himself first. As Sayu took the stance to launch the arrow, he shot his arrow at the envoy. It took some garment and hair out of the envoy. Yet the envoy used his palm to strike Sayu, and his body was twisted multiple times before landing on the ground. The envoy takes out his coat and is surprised that Sayu is alive with that small build of his. Then, Jeek wakes up and yells at the envoy to not touch Sayu. Then he grabs the tree which was broken and aims it towards the envoy. As Jeek hurled the tree at the envoy narrows his eyes and tightens his fist. Then he used his fist to strike the tree and sliced it half with his bare fist. Now he has decided to kill Jeek first and is headed towards Jeek. The envoy uses his knee to launch a blow, and as Jeek is in midair, he grabbed Jeek with his leg, so Jeek can't move. Then Sayu from backside attacks the envoy, but the envoy says that he wants to kill Jeek first and had a different way to kill Sayu. Sayu strikes using his foot at the envoy, but he dodged it easily. Then the envoy punches Sayu so hard. Jeek grabs the envoy's legs. Then the envoy thrusted his fist into Jeek's face. Jeek, without even budging, glared at the envoy with murderous intent and take hold of the envoy's hand, and he punched into the air. because the envoy had already used his reflexes to dodge it and grabs Jeek. At that time, the Inoi walks to the end of the cliff and releases his grip at Jeek, and like that, Jeek has met his death.
After witnessing the death of his close friend, Sa-yu, the protagonist is enraged by it and uses a headbutt to the envoy. Without missing this chance, he kicked the envoy on his chin and punched him straight to his face. The guards from the backside are stunned after spectating this.
Then, the envoy holds Sa-yu's hands and flipped him completely to the ground. The envoy is impressed that, even without knowing any martial arts, Sa-yu had inflicted pain on him, who is an envoy of Yuan. The envoy had taken out a hooked blade attached with a chain, and he shoots out the chains at the long tree. Later, the moon is red, and Sa-yu is thinking about Jeek and Muei. His whole body is bleeding, and he was tied by the chains. A pack of wolves have come to devour him, and then a person arrives by stating that Sa-yu looked healthy last night, but now he is awful. It is the old man. I guess the protagonist is going to get some training from him. The old man uses his martial art to instantly wipe a wolf from the existence. Sa-yu is bewildered to see the old man's power, and the remaining pack of wolves are attacking the old man together. Yet he effortlessly defeated the wolves without breaking a sweat. The old man questions Sa-yu if he wants to live, even if he have to suffer more than in hell. Sa-yu replies that his precious friend is dead, and his sister is taken away by barbarians, and he can't do anything about it. Right now, he could only wait for his death. He then smiles and speaks that, even if it is worse than hell, it couldn't be worse than what he is going through now. The old man flicks his finger, and the chains are snapped. The old man states that Sa-yu is in so much pain, yet he was smiling, and that is what made the old man to save him. So he advises him never to lose his smile. The old man informs that 35 of Sa-yu's bones are broken, and 70 parts of his muscles are damaged. So, it is up to his will whether he will stay in that position for the rest of his life, or he will recover his precious healthy body. Sa-yu questions why the old man saved him. The old man replies that it was because of the ginseng that Sa-yu gave out of compassion. He then squeezes the ginseng, and the drop of the ginseng was partaken by Sa-yu. The old man teaches that, in our body, there are 206 bones and 650 muscles. Once a man figures out the function and role of each of them, they will be able to control them completely. The old man now pokes out all the acupuncture points with his energy and states that Sa-yu is now in a condition where his vitality or his life is absent, yet he is still alive. Like that, Sa-yu's full body, slowly from his hands to legs, everything is reborn newly. The old man mentions that, if Sa-yu can get the ghost eye, he will be reborn as the heavenly artillery general. A year later, in a place called Myohying Mountain, which is in Goryeo, few old people have gathered in a cave to discuss that a substantial number of masters lost their lives throughout the year. Half a year back, Iron Force's 7 land deities and a person called Cheol Sanja died. The 7 land deities are people with outstanding performances, and according to their disciples, a young man and an old man came to see the land deities. Those are Sa-yu and his master. The land deities use a martial art called Wanyu martial arts. It is a combination of magic and martial arts. And to master it, it would take 10 years of time. However, such outstanding martial arts were destroyed in matter of fact, and in that process, a martial art was revealed, where the inner body of a human could be torn into pieces. That is how the land deities met their end. After that, the person called Cheol Sanja from Cheol Mountains. His wonderful and miraculous powers, and above all, no human strength can pierce through his defense called the Boundless Wall. Nonetheless, it was destroyed in an instant, and the identity of the old man was unknown. The old man used a martial art, where there were no physical remains left of Cheol Sanja. Now the old people are discussing about the identity of the unknown old man, because there is no one in this Goryeo who is as strong as that unknown old man. Then a person speaks that, if they have forgotten about the incident that happened 10 years ago, where 30 masters gathered to defeat a single old man. However, 1/3 of the masters got killed instead. It was done by a man called Evil Spirit, Hanmu Baek, Sa-yu's master. The martial arts of Sa-yu's master is called Heavenly Artillery General. Those who have mastered it were called Heavenly Artillery Generals. It is a traditional martial art that has been handed down for over 1,000 years. This martial art uses the body's frame, muscles, and the blood vessels. One needs to figure all of those out, and then they can destroy the accurate blood vessel to collapse the body. The most important thing is that the hand should weigh more than 20 kilos. As the master and student training fiercely, even just by getting touched, Sayu's body is twisting itself by the martial art. There are no particular methods for this martial art, just tightening, ravaging, breaking joints, and damaging muscles. Now the master uses another technique, which is thunder energy. The thunder energy could easily damage 10 major points in a body. Originally, the master should teach him slowly, but there is no time for him, so Sayu needs endure the training even if it is hard. Now coming to present, there are few monks who are on their way to stop Sayu and his master. Sayu is using his martial art, where he could just touch a certain part of human body. The muscles itself are twisting and causes an extreme pain to the victim. From behind the master, there are some who are sneak attacking, and the master uses his thunder energy. Like how human body has blood vessels, there are nerves similar to the objects around us. If one stimulate those nerves, they can destroy a huge mountain. Later, again, a lot of people are blocking the path of Sayu and his master. The master threatens them to move away, yet they speak that their master had given them an order to strictly forbid anyone who belongs to evil faction. Then all the people are moving out to take down Sayu and his master. Then, the gloves adorned by Sayu are shattered to pieces, and he unlocks his ghost eyes. Now that Sayu has been able to unlock his ghost eyes, he is now a true heavenly artillery general. Sayu rapidly defeats all the weak people by using heavenly artillery. Now, the bald monk has jumped into action. Yet, Sayu dodges it effortlessly. Now the monk rotates his stick and attempts to thrust it into Sayu. But, without dodging it, he grabbed the stick and used his martial art into it. Then the stick itself is twisting. The monk leaves the stick and uses his foot to strike Sayu. Nevertheless, Sayu took the foot of the monk by using thunder energy. As the monk is falling down from the cliff, he could see the ghost eyes of Sayu. The monk expresses to evil spirit that he needs to get rid of his anger. Then the evil spirit speaks that, will the monk be able to forgive Sayu, now that Sayu had took his leg? The master states to Sayu that they have wasted a lot of time on his fools. They need to face off against the three hermits now. As the both of them are heading inside the cave, the evil spirit guides Sayu, that Sayu can train here, and in the future, the dozens of shining marbles on the wall will be his assets after he leaves out the cave. At that time, a giant door has blocked the entrance of the cave, and the evil spirit smiles at it. He informs to Sayu that, once he can break that door, there will be almost no one in this world who can stop Sayu. Subsequently, they visit the three hermits, and three hermits greet Sayu's master. One of the hermit identifies Sayu, and congrats the evil spirit that he got a good disciple. Nonetheless, he will die today. The evil spirit responds that he brought his disciple to train him here, so he needs to kill the three hermits first. At that time, the master takes off his coat, and his body is full of scars. He notifies Sayu to watch closely, so that he can feel and remember his master's movements. He advises Sayu to look at everything, including the damage that the master is going to get. Sayu can comprehend that this will be his master's last battle, so he decides to not look away. In that moment, a hermit had unsheathed his sword using his martial art, and the sword itself is moving on its own. When the sword reached the evil spirit, the hermits have all used their best martial arts to kill the evil spirit. Nonetheless, the evil spirit used the heavenly artillery martial arts strong move, called the triple burst. With that move, the three hermits have been fallen back to more than 30 steps. The evil spirit informs that
all the three of you needs to do your best. Otherwise, you will die in vain.
The evil spirit's hands look like long and slender, smooth and delicate hands without imperfection. However, people call him as evil spirit. In order to gain these hands, the master had abandoned all his emotions, because that's what being a heavenly artillery general is about. 10 years ago, the evil spirit is attacked by 30 masters led by the three hermits. The three hermits are planning to establish a new country, and if the evil spirit cooperates with them, the evil spirit could have the privilege to name the new country. Yet, The evil spirit refuses it, because when the evil spirit had come out far from his wife after listening to the hermits, that they need to go on an urgent mission. His wife was murdered, even his daughter went missing with her nanny. The evil spirits warns that, if they don't kill him today, in the near future, he will for sure wipe them out. That is how, the evil spirit used his martial art to kill 1/3 of the most powerful masters present that day. Even though the evil spirit had survived that battle, it took him 10 years to recover from that wounds. Although he found out his daughter's whereabouts, for some reason, there were rumors that his daughter had went to the continent. So he planned to search in the continent too, but his wounds didn't let him. He can realize that he don't have a lot of time left, as he was planning to get back to Liaoning province, which is China. He saw Sayu in his journey, and took him as his disciple, so that Sayu could fulfill his wish. Now back to present. The evil spirit then took off an arm of the hermit, and uses a move called Heavenly Strike. All the three hermits could feel the difference in their power, and the evil spirit had now used his ultimate technique, called Heavenly Burst. He remembers his daughter named Sang Ha, that he is sorry for leaving her all alone in this world. That is how the three hermits, who are the strongest martial artists in the world, by reaching the realm of immortals have died by the evil spirit. The evil spirit states that, if Sayu finds his daughter in the future, he can just let her be, if she was living well. But if she was facing any problems, Sayu could help her once. This is what the evil spirit wishes from Sayu. Sayu agrees to his master's last wishes with a sad expression on his face. The master reminds Sayu that Sayu should never lose his smile. Sayu then smiles at his master, while tears flowing down from his eyes. After the evil spirit's death, 10 years have passed. Besides, now Sayu got a bigger chin. Sayu had practiced the martial arts that he had witnessed during the fight between evil spirit and the three hermits. Now he bows down to his master's body, which has been fallen into eternal slumber, and finally had rested in peace today. He greets his master that,
I, Dan Sayu, the Heavenly Artillery General's 35th victor, is greeting you for the last time before I leave.
According to his master's wishes, he is set to find his daughter and to keep his smile. In a Shaolin temple, a bell has rang. This indicates that an evil being has arrived near their mountains. Then all the monks are rushing towards the cave that Sayu is in, and all of them are ready to take down Sayu the moment he steps outside. The bald monk whose leg has been taken by Sayu 10 years ago have appeared now to take his revenge. He motivates the monks behind him to subdue Sayu at all costs. As all of them have taken the fighting stance, a strong sensation started, which made the ground vibrate strongly. Then the door to the cave which blocked the entrance has finally sliced into 2 pieces. A foot appears from the cave, and Sayu thinks that it has been a long time since he had seen daylight. The bald monk remembers as to how he suffered defeat that day 10 years back. At the point of time, a person approaches to the scene and informs to Sayu that this Shaolin temple was built to block the evil spirit. Moreover, the statues behind Sayu were built in honor of the 3 hermits, who sacrificed themselves in order to kill the evil spirit. He questions if Sayu also wants to start a bloody war with the temple, like evil spirit did. Sayu denies it, that his path is different from his master, so he had no intention to start a war. The monk leader is perplexed that the disciple of evil spirit is looking for peace. The bald interrupts that the monk leader shouldn't believe Sayu's words. Furthermore, the bald monk is enraged to fight Sayu. His confidence had reached peak, where he believes that could defeat even the evil spirit himself if he were to appear now. Sayu understands what the bald monk is saying, and he turns back and moves in the direction of where the statues are. He states that the statues are looking different compared to how the 3 hermits actually look like, but he doesn't care about that, and extends his hand by placing it on the statues. Then he uses the thunder energy to completely annihilate the statues, that they are wiped from the face of earth itself. Sayu thinks that his master could now rest in peace. The bald monk and monk leader both are terrified by the strength that Sayu has displayed. Sayu speaks that he kept the bald monk waiting, so he questions if they will attack him one by one, or all on one. The entire hermit's cave has destroyed by that force, so who would dare to go against Sayu after witnessing his martial prowess? The monk leader asks that, if they let Sayu go, what will he do to them? Sayu responds that it would reduce some nuisance to him, so he'll be grateful for that. The monk leader appreciates Sayu for his generosity, and that 10 years have passed since the death of the hermits, so he will not bother the disciple of evil spirit again. Sayu now realizes that 10 years have passed since his master's death, so he needs to move quickly. The monk leader addresses where Sayu is now heading to. Sayu replies that, to fulfill his master's wish and to find his friend, he will now head to the mainland. The monk leader expresses that the mainland is going to be noisy now. Then Sayu left the place, and the monk leader is thinking that he could feel the aura of the evil spirit when he used roam around. But he didn't feel any aura when Sayu is around. It could only mean one thing, which is, Sayu is the most accomplished heavenly artillery general ever. Now the real journey of an OPMC starts from here.